Matt Damon's first role, Rust, and Ike are all on this day. Welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is October 21st, 2022. It is the 294th day of the year. There's 71 days left in 2022. It's the 42nd Friday in the 43rd week and the 30th day of fall. You got 61 days left until winter. Today is World Iodine Deficiency Day. Did you know it was a thing? Either did I. And if any of you listening right now do have an iodine deficiency, I am sorry, I apologize. I'm not trying to iodine shame you. But on October 21st, World Iodine Deficiency Day spreads awareness for the role that iodine has in the health of the human body. The day is also called Global Iodine Deficiency Disorder Prevention Day. That's a lot of words. I felt my iodine levels dropping while I was trying to say it. Iodine is a mineral that the body needs to make thyroid hormones. These hormones play a role in several bodily functions, including heart rate, metabolism, body temperature, and muscle contraction. Eating certain foods can increase the body's iodine levels, so that's good news. Fish such as cod, tuna, shrimp, and even seaweed are all high in iodine. Dairy products such as yogurt, milk, and cheese are also good sources of iodine. But oddly enough, one of the best sources of iodine is simple table salt. Yeah, they started adding iodine to it way back in the early 1900s. And it doesn't need it. The government just asked them to add it to the salt because they were trying to get more iodine into people's diets, because a lot of people were getting goiters and thyroid problems because lack of iodine from wherever they were. They just didn't have it in the soil. So a lot of foods they had were lacking iodine. And Morton Salt, being a big team player, decided, well, this is a good idea. They just did it. And they continue to do it, even though these days there's not much of a need for it. All right. Let's see what else October 21st has given us. 1854, Florence Nightingale and a staff of 38 nurses are sent to the Crimea War. 1921, President Warren G. Harding delivers the first speech by a sitting U.S. president against lynching in the Deep South. 1959, President Dwight D. Eisenhower approves the transfer of all U.S. Army space-related activities to NASA, including most of the Army Ballistic Missile Agency. That's not the first thing to be taken away from the Army and put on their own thing. That's how we got the Air Force. They used to be the Army Air Corps. 1967, the National Mobilization Committee to End the Vietnam War organizes a march of 50,000 people from the Lincoln Memorial to the Pentagon. 2011, the Iraq War. President Barack Obama announces that the withdrawal of the United States troops from Iraq will be completed by the end of the year. 2021, a shooting occurs on the set of the film Rust, in which actor Alec Baldwin discharged a prop gun which had been loaded with a live round, killing the director of photography, Helena Hutchinson, and injuring director Joel Souza. Now, this is a fiasco from the very beginning. This should never have happened, and a lot of people blame Alec Baldwin. I don't think it's his fault at all. On movie sets, whenever they have firearms or any kind of weapon, they have someone that's called an armorer. The armorer is in charge of all the weapons. They're there for safety. They're there to make sure that this weapon does not hurt anyone. That's their job. I mean, they just make sure everything goes smooth and nobody gets hurt. That is the one job they have. So what happened was they're filming this movie Rust in New Mexico, and it's a Western. On the day of the shooting, the armorer handed Alec Baldwin a gun that was supposed to have prop rounds. I've been on a couple movie sets, and one of them I was shot with a shotgun. Didn't have any rounds in it, obviously, because I'm still talking to you. And before every single round was fired in there, I remember watching the armorer that we had on set go over everything. He even came over and showed us the rounds. If you were being shot by that weapon, he would load it in front of you. And I inspected it when I was being shot with the shotgun. Looked down the barrel, I made sure nothing else was in there, and he loaded the rounds. He said, make sure that doesn't leave your sight till we start shooting the scene. And so the actor and me, we stood next to the guy that shot me, I should say, we stood next to each other with, he's holding the rifle until it was my time to get shot. Since I'm being the one that's getting shot, he said if he has to go to the bathroom before we film the scene, he hands the rifle to you. You are in charge of that rifle to make sure you don't get shot. Well, this armorer that was on the set hands this weapon to Alec Baldwin. Now, I'm not sure of all the rules and regulations, but it's my understanding that most armorers won't have live rounds anywhere near a movie set that they're using firearms. She did, and apparently she liked to target practice on her downtime and shoot in the desert, and they all got into it. Now, that's her fault. She's in charge of that. She should have never allowed live rounds on that set. And it's just sad. You got a dead woman who apparently was friendly with Alec Baldwin and his wife. They knew her. You got the director who was shot in the shoulder. And you got everyone, including Alec Baldwin, mostly Alec Baldwin, for pulling the trigger. He's facing all kinds of lawsuits because this armor left a round in the gun. It's just a shame. Movies released on October 21st, 1988, Mystic Pizza. This is a coming-of-age movie about 3 teenage girls who learn about life while working at a pizza place in Mystic, Connecticut. This has earned a cult following, and it's also the first movie Matt Damon was ever in. Yeah, he played like a 14-year-old boy in the movie. But it stars Julia Roberts, Annabeth Gish, Lily Tyler, Vincent D'Onofrio. It's a great movie. If you don't like romantic comedies, it might not be for you, or coming-of-age type movies, it's still pretty good. Born on October 21st, 1959, Ken Watanabe. If you don't know who he is, he's an amazing actor. We just talked about Letters from Iwo Jima, which was a movie about World War II. He starred in that one. But my favorite role that he ever played was Katsumoto in The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise. Such a good movie. He played such a good part. He was actually nominated for Best Supporting Actor. He's been in like Memoirs of a Geisha, Batman Begins, Inception, Godzilla, King of Monsters. Great actor. Died on October 21st, 2012. We lost George McGovern, politician and Democrat who was the U.S. Senator from South Dakota from 1963 to 1981. He was the Democratic nominee for president in 1972, but lost to President Richard Nixon in one of the biggest landslides in American electoral history. Nothing compares to Mondale, though. Oh my God. In 1984, Mondale won Minnesota. That was it. Reagan took every other state. Well, I guess technically he got Washington, D.C. too. But as far as states go, he only got Minnesota, which is his home state, so. McGovern was born in Avon, South Dakota, but his hometown was Mitchell, South Dakota, which is also home of the Corn Palace. In '72, when he ran against Nixon, he only got Massachusetts and Washington, D.C. Now, Massachusetts has 14 electoral votes back then, and Minnesota only had 10, so his was almost as bad as Mondale's. In 2012, George McGovern was 90 years old, and on October 15th, his family announced that he had entered hospice in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. His daughter had said that he was coming towards the end of his life, and on the morning of October 21st, 2012, McGovern died at the age of 90 in Sioux Falls, South Dakota's hospice. He was surrounded by family and lifelong friends. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a productive day, and be nice to each other.